Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your contributions in so many areas. General, I'd like to start with you, if I may, and this relates to the Arctic. As my colleagues here on the Appropriations Committee know, I come to many of these Appropriations Subcommittee hearings to talk about the Arctic, and I'd like to bring up the issue of Arctic infrastructure and our deep draft port in the region. As you know, with increasing traffic in the Bering and Chukchi, we recognize the fact that we do not have a deep draft port there. I am concerned about the Corps' decision not to fund ongoing work in the Corps' FY17 work plan to continue the evaluation of the Arctic deep draft port there in Nome. And I do recognize, that the study identified Nome as the preferred location for the near-term development of that port. There was also an external independent peer review which confirmed the validity of the study. And I do recognize that we are dealing with some challenging budget environments, but I equally appreciate the opportunity that we have here. We're seeing this unfold in front of us. We need to get on it sooner than later, recognizing the lag time and how long it takes to build anything in the Arctic. So I'm looking for your commitment, General, that you'll work with me to ensure that the Corps does move forward with this strategic infrastructure project and hopefully reconsider the decision on funding work in the FY17 to complete the design for an Arctic deep draft port.
So, Senator, let me talk about, first of all, the requirement, and I'll let Mr. Lamont jump in if he wants to talk to funding.
Certainly.
But the bottom line is the NDAA did ask us to take a strategic look at this. Clearly, this goes back to where's the Department of Defense, what's the Coast Guard, what are the opportunities up there? As you know, we started a feasibility study that was put on pause. I think what we all need to do is continue to be able to make sure this was Homeland Security and Department of Defense coming together. We have not had necessarily an answer from that work that's being done as to the utility of Nome when it comes to DOD and the Coast Guard. But I think what we need to do is continue to be able to help champion every one of these requirements so then Congress has all the facts they need to be able to figure out what gets funded or not. But we will continue to be able to work. I'll make sure my guys are working with you every single day to do whatever we can to identify the potential of that particular port. And so I don't know if you want to jump in on the funding end, but we'll certainly help justify the requirement.
Well, and I think along that lines, if I may, General, making sure that it's not just an assessment or an evaluation as to the economic justification, but the fact that you've got life safety reasons, you have other socioeconomic benefits that would come not only to Nome, but to the region as a whole, your ability to decrease the costs of food, for instance, the cost of fuel, just the general cost of living, and hopefully that is included as part of that assessment.
Yes, Senator, we will look at all of those aspects as we proceed on any feasibility report. I can assure you of that. This is within the principles and guidelines that we follow for our planning program, no matter what type of project.
Well, know that this is something, again, we want to work with you. We've had conversations, and I know the direction here, but I just want to keep a fire under